a part of me goes, he's a fucking genius like Einstein, or he's a complete fraud and we'll find out in 15 years, and how do we not know? No, not even that though, but just Superman or some character that a studio has created, although acted by a real person, is probably going to have a bigger impact on reality than, I don't know.
It's an interesting concept because this is back to they can create something that is more relatable than just a person.
You got some chocolate there too.
Oh, digestives, mate.
Yeah.
Nice food.
Yeah, weird though.
Yeah.
Just weird to think about. And
but
then
it's a completely accurate thought, because especially with kids, when they're at their most like influenced, they'll latch on to a cartoon character. Like,
yeah.
You see it with little girls and Elsa or a Disney princess, bro. It's like it is the main influence is Elsa.
Elsa.
Like,
yeah, or even at work.
You love Elsa.
And even like another one of them. So it's just me running and just saying, here's a thought. Like, insurance in superhero universes must be astronomically expensive. Like, think of it, especially like those Fast and Furious, the insurance on that set. So it's just me sort of doing shower thoughts. None of them have popped off. But a guy called Carby Lane, he did 90 videos in 30 days.
Wow.
And he's 3 a day.
That's actually
not that unachievable.
Like that.
Yeah. But 70 million followers on TikTok. The fourth biggest account. Charlie D'Amelio, Addison Rae, what's the chick with tats? She just released a song. Can't remember her name, but it's who you're thinking of. And then this Carby Lane, fourth person.
And that was his whole concept, just 3 a day. What were they?
3 a day.
Similar to
so
what
he's stitching videos, which is where you grab 5 seconds of a video and then you add your own ending to it. So it's comedy, but what it is, it's not him speaking. So he's an Italian person, but he's acting out. So it's not even restricting yourself to the audience that you're speaking in. So it's truly universal. It's really clever.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
Anyway, welcome back to the Outspoken Show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We're a man down, but we're holding up the fort.
Holding it up.
We're still doing a giveaway, 500 subs. We're doing a pair of AirPods. I don't have them on me. They're just over there, but 500 subs, help us get us there, and you can have them. We were just talking about TikTok concepts and the...
She doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
Looks like she's fucking dying.
Well, that's Emma Chamberlain, and she was talking about TikTok and burnout, and it's interesting because she was commenting on how toxic TikTok is, and it's so obvious.
Isn't that her means of like succeeding is getting out there on social media, but then...
What do you mean?
Isn't she one of those ones big on... Or she more a YouTuber?
No, she's a YouTuber. Okay. She's the blogger.
Yeah, I remember which one, but specifically TikTok is toxic.
She's TikTok, yeah. But
Well, she's YouTube, but TikTok is toxic.
Yeah. I was just checking in on my coin spot, and Bitcoin's had a little run as well. Elon Musk seems to be propping it up. I don't know what it is, but he commented on his Twitter saying that if Bitcoin miners started to use reasonable amounts of clean energy, he'll start accepting Bitcoin transactions on his Tesla vehicles, and that sends it 8% in the air.
It's crazy, but how does he even measure if people are starting to use clean energy? Like, what is...
That's my biggest question.
Show me your setup. If I deem it to be alright, boom. Okay,
what is reasonable?
I have no idea.
Because he did say over 50%. But how do you measure the Bitcoin miners? How do you measure how efficient they are?
Because they need lots of power and lots of computers. I don't know how to do it. Like,
it's technical.
But there's like lots of different... They need lots of power to create or to mine these Bitcoin. Like, what is...
I don't know how they... I don't have the answer. But
so he's just trying to boost the stock then? That's just like, I just want to boost it up a little bit. I'm going to say something interesting.
Yeah, it's funny you say stock, because it's not. It's a currency.
Right.
But is it like market manipulation? Because he bought, I think, 1.5 billion early this year. He's since sold 10%. This was to reduce operating losses of Tesla. But he's playing the market. Is he not playing the market?
It feels dodgy. Like, I feel like this guy owns... Like, he is Bitcoin. He created Bitcoin. Like,
imagine... Has anyone thought of that? Like,
I don't know. Do we know who actually created Bitcoin?
I don't think so. They had Kashi Nashimoto, blah, blah, blah. He created it.
Did he?
Hikashi Nashimoto or something like that.
Did he, Luke? I reckon Elon Musk.
No, but that person,
with him,
that person with the Japanese name isn't a person.
Yeah.
It's a
Of
cover.
course, of course.
So it could be Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's interesting because it does seem like if he just needs a boost,
He can create a
he's
boost.
got so much money in Bitcoin. But how would you?
If you've got $1.5 billion and you increase it by 10%, that's $150 million by one tweet. Like, the math works out. It's not that taxing to tweet.
No.
It's not that taxing.
No. He probably doesn't do it himself. Tells his assistant, hey, can you just say this thing about,
I reckon he is tweeting, though. I reckon it's his account.
Like a bit of a release. He says enough, like, things that are not
too far. Yeah, too far off the beaten track. Or too far off mainstream.
Off the beaten track.
Off the beaten track.
Off the beaten track is accurate.
I feel like, I don't know, back maybe 10 years ago, you'd be scrolling Instagram and you knew the celebrity wasn't posting the picture. You knew they had someone running it for them. But now, I think it is them most of the time.
It's kind of like a release. Like, they're able to just get it out there because there's so many people doing other shit. I guess you want your own words to your name,
message.
At least. Yeah.
It's your message. And I think it's a good way. It's not it's obvious that it's been a good way to connect with fans a lot better. And I think that's why everyone's started to do it. But at what point is Elon Musk just manipulating the market?
But how can anyone stop him though? Like,
that's
no regulation.
Market manipulation versus free speech.
Yeah, but it's also like there's no regulation on Bitcoin. Like no country can regulate or no governing body is in charge of what happens with it.
It's free reign.
It's literally just people buying into his message. They're buying into Bitcoin if they think.
And who can tell him off?
No one can tell him off. That's the thing.
Because you've got
just keep doing it.
You've got stock advisors, and then you've got like a stockbroker who will advise you. One person, I recommend you go into this stock. But then you've also got the paid services, the subscriptions, where it's probably an email blast going out saying, we like the look of this company, this is what we're suggesting. And that's on a smaller scale, a much smaller scale to what Elon Musk is doing. At what point along that spectrum does it... I think it's market manipulation. At what point is it illegal?
I don't know if it's illegal because it's still...
At what point would it be illegal then?
I don't think it can be.
Because he's at the profit of it. Like, he directly benefits from the tweets increasing the price of Bitcoin.
But hasn't he, in a way, earned that? Like,
I completely agree.
Influence, him saying... This thing is like, I'm in this.
I believe in this.
I believe in this. And the fact that he believes in it is what drives people to then buy it if he says something promoting it. So it's kind of like, as long as people trust him, and as long as people think he's going to be this great innovator that's going to push us forward and his stock's going to go up, the currency is just going to keep improving. So I'm going to bet on that. So it's kind of like that same thing.
So we want to be betting on Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's people betting on Elon Musk essentially when they do this with Bitcoin.
Have you got any of BitClout?
I haven't got any BitClout, no. But he's up there. He's already too high a bar to get in, probably.
Probably, yeah. I mean, he'd be one of those ones that... a part of me goes, he's a fucking genius like Einstein, or he's a complete fraud and we'll find out in 15 years, and how do we not know?
Well, we know he's at least not a fraud in terms of his ability to make a good car. Like, the car's pretty dope. He's got the right people involved in all that. Like, at least the engineers he hires are amazing at what they do.
But he just has such lunatic ideas, but people buy into it. But at what point we're like, hang on, how did we not know that wouldn't work? Like, cars don't fly there. Or something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. He's definitely crazy.
Certainly
he's
crazy.
Certainly crazy compared to what we think is normal. He just thinks differently, and he has weird ideas. He goes with them, and he has the means to go with them, so he can probably do whatever he wants. Which one of them is manipulate the Bitcoin market?
Do you think there should be a certain point where, if someone's account is as big as Elon Musk's is, they can't tweet about or comment on sort of financial assets where they can benefit?
I think that's where you start to...
you
have to do it for everyone, or you can't do it for anyone, I would think. Like, no one can comment on financial assets, including Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all them. Like, I don't think...
I don't think you could rule out just one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, all of those guys, I think everyone... No, this is something no one can talk about. Because if you start picking and choosing, I think that's bad. If you just tell everyone they can't do it too. Especially on Twitter, because their whole moniker is... Moniker?
Motto?
Monica. I don't know.
Monica,
Like
let's get a
Monica.
Monica.
Yeah. But their whole thing is... It's as close to free speech as they claim in a social media thing. Yeah.
Monica,
I don't know Monaco.
Yeah, that's what Jack Dorsey's big on. Big on
Jack
free
Dorsey.
speech. Jack Dorsey, sorry.
Yeah, but they still have
He's
limitations with it. But I think in terms of the popular social medias, they're the closest to free speech you can get, especially in an American market. Like they're as close as you get. Although they still censor people, but I don't know. I don't know if you can stop him.
But
what's your responsibility on preventing that?
I'm not sure,
social responsibility?
but is it if Elon Musk is tweeting and suggesting to buy Bitcoin, someone bets their house on it, they lose their house. Is it a possibility that they hold Twitter accountable or Elon Musk accountable for the losses that they made based on a quasi-recommendation?
I don't see that as a legitimate reason to...
Because there's no disclaimers, this is not financial advice, seek your financial professional.
Is that an Australian standard or is that
I believe that's... Well, I know it's an Australian. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that internationally.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, you're still choosing... There's got to be some personal responsibility. If you're betting your house on Bitcoin because Elon Musk says we might allow you to use Bitcoin to buy a Tesla in the future... I think that's on you.
In that instance, yes.
But
what if it was...
It's on you.
But what if it's him tweeting Bitcoin?
He's just saying Bitcoin. You're reading into it. Like, he's got this ability to manipulate the market, and I don't think you can stop him saying Bitcoin.
Okay, does it become... If Bitcoin's a buy, does that become a market recommendation? Is that financial advice? Or could that be misconstrued as financial advice then?
It could definitely be misconstrued as financial advice. You can misconstrue Bitcoin as financial advice if you read it that way.
Could then Twitter be held accountable for losses potentially made?
I don't know enough about the laws in terms of the actual hosting platform because that's kind of like the public forum. It's like someone.
But I wonder if that's what needs to happen
before
people. And I'm not saying I want it to happen because I don't.
Yeah.
But to me, it seems I'm skeptical of the fact that people can manipulate and directly benefit.
It's not good for most people that he has this amount of power to do that, especially if you have like your investment in Bitcoin, and he's got this much influence. It's going to be bad if he does something stupid. If he does something wrong, then you're screwed. But you're betting on something that has allowed for someone like him to have all this influence. I don't think you can hold anyone responsible like you censor him.
It's interesting that you said at the very start that Bitcoin was a stock, and I know it's just a sort of comment that was an accidental comment. But if a comment like a tweet was put out and it was about a public company that can be bought on the NASDAQ, the ASX, whatever, then that would be illegal.
Is that the fact that it's on the NASDAQ or the ASX?
It's a listed company,
that's
yeah.
That's a regulating body that oversees it all. Bitcoin's its own thing.
Yes. So because it's a traded company, you can't make those calls.
And that's where the problem's lie, because there's a governing body. Yeah,
it's this very
it's
blurry line.
Yeah,
and I think maybe because we're so... Or is it because we're so new that we haven't figured it out yet?
Yeah, I'm sure down the track there will be governing bodies who get involved and start being able to regulate it somehow. But while it's not, I don't think you can do anything about Elon Musk telling people to buy Bitcoin, or he could probably outright say go buy Bitcoin. Like he's basically...
You reckon?
He's basically doing that. Like he's not doing it in the direct telling you to do it, but everyone knows what that is.
You know what he's hinting at, that's for sure. But Ripple apparently is the most energy efficient cryptocurrency. This is what I was told. So my friend's big on it, so I haven't read into it, but I've put a bit of money in it just because, well, our whole friend group's in it, and I just want to be a part of that. I don't want to miss out. But he got excited.
Don't your friends get rich and you not to get rich? Yeah. Fuck this. Should have listened to him.
Sort of, FOMO. But he was getting very excited when Elon tweeted about the sustainability and the energy efficiency of Bitcoin and how it wasn't. And he goes, well, Ripple is Elon going to tweet about Ripple? So he was getting very excited. He hasn't tweeted about Ripple. But I don't think
I wonder why.
Yeah, I haven't lost money on it, so I'm not. And even still, it was an amount that can go to zero. I'm like, I don't care. I just wanted to be in on it because it's almost a whole conversation that we have, the Bitcoin boys. It's good fun. But
up.
Yeah, and there was a TikTok of all these like Ferraris going past, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and it was like when the boys buy into Doge. We sort of just sharing that around. I was like, oh, one day. But
I've definitely heard of people like Bitcoin has been incredible investment for a lot of people when they got in a few years ago. But
well, if you turned it into millions, would you be buying that ticket that Jeff Bezos was auctioning off?
Go up into space for Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin, auctioned a seat. I think the starting bid was around $4 million. In a couple of minutes, it's up to closed at $28 million for a 3-minute view of space.
And there were 5 seats. Was it 5 seats going on?
I think it's a 6-seater. So it's Jeff Bezos, his brother,
okay,
and one person who's winning the auction. And they said an undisclosed person.
Right.
Whatever that means. Whether they haven't picked the person or they don't want to say who it is.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Someone who would like that.
Who knows at this point? Yeah. But we were looking at the pictures, and actually I might try and bring them up here because the picture of this spacecraft, if you call it, was very epic. Because I can't even imagine the image that you'd see. I'm struggling to get it up, but the image that you'd see.
Look, come on.
What do you reckon you'd see from space though?
What would you see from space?
Yeah. What would you be seeing on the spacecraft?
This is the thing. How far out are they going? Because they're just going out of the atmosphere. Literally in zero gravity for, it was 3 minutes, wasn't it?
Isn't it? Yep. 3 minutes in space.
Yeah, so you're 3 minutes in zero gravity. You would see what...
So this is it up here.
This is the spacecraft.
It's
it
almost
looks pretty dope.
It looks like something from some tech movie from the future where you've got this round table with these very luxurious chairs, some cylindrical thing in the middle, like a high bar.
And what the hell's it?
Yeah.
Just drinks pop up
Probably,
through the middle.
yeah.
That's probably, yeah.
A lot of champagne, and then windows next to each seat. I think I'd love to know what you're seeing from up there.
You'd be seeing not the whole of the Earth, of course.
That
would be crazy.
Because
be too close. But
because like the first maybe like 10 seconds, you're probably seeing your city, your country, and then you see a few other countries, sort of like a plane. But maybe a minute in, you're well above, and are you just looking at clouds? Are you just looking at a big ball?
You're above the clouds, so you'd be looking down. Yeah, it would be like a fraction of the Earth. I'd be looking the other way. I'd be seeing all the stars you can't...
You'd be looking up?
Stars you can't see from Earth because there's so much light pollution or whatever. Like, I'd be curious. I wonder what that would be like out there. Because isn't the sun a ton of light pollution? But obviously not.
It'd be... my mind actually just can't visualize what it would look like in space. Because you've seen in the movies, just looking down at Earth, it's a big round ball. But what else is around you?
Oh, yeah, isn't there meant to be a ton of, like,
they say
debris and things?
Asteroids is flying, not saucers, but just particles
that would be
flying around.
Flying saucers, holy, well, they're just right here.
A big UFO. But there'd be so much to see out there.
Yeah, I don't think, what is it, 3 minutes in 3 minutes in the zero gravity, that's not enough time.
You'd
barely take it in 3 minutes.
So it's 3 minutes in zero gravity.
So they probably just come back to a decent spot where you can still see, but you've got some gravity. The zero gravity might be like a...
I'm not sure, because it would be at a certain point you'd reach zero gravity, and that's where you stay. You hover for 3 minutes. Maybe not hover, but you spend 3 minutes in a zero gravity zone before you return back to Earth and gravity.
I wonder if that's just like a health thing, like... The astronauts who go up into space, they do all this training to prepare their body for that kind of environment. Maybe if you're in zero gravity for like 5 minutes, your blood starts to do weird things. Or
maybe
I wonder if that's
that actually is probably a lot to do with it. Astronauts, it's a rigorous training process.
Because I would wonder, why would it only be 3 minutes if you're going up into space? You'd think if you can stay longer, why wouldn't you? Why would only 3 minutes?
I wonder what the cost of running a flight like this would be as well.
One person paid 28 mil to cover it. They wanted 4.
You reckon? Well, that was getting donated straight to charity, though.
Yeah,
that was going to, I think, it's Blue
course.
Origin's education fund, which is fantastic to, I think, promote people to go into STEM pathways.
Right, yeah.
But the cost of running the flight, like, what would that be? Probably millions, because I think planes.
No concept.
Yeah. What do you judge it on? How long's a piece of
space
string
fuel
here?
cost? What's that go for a gallon?
Yeah.
A gallon? A litre.
Yeah, a litre.
We're in Australia. A litre.
Litre, yeah. But one of the other things as well is it's only done 12 test flights. No, sorry, more than a dozen.
More than
a dozen.
So vague. Could be literally 11.
Yeah, literally. No, it can't be.
13. Could be 13. Sorry, Bob. Or the baker's dozen.
The baker's dozen. Oh wow, that's almost it's not worse than me last time trying to divide 21 by 7 or 21 by 3.
Yeah, that was
rough.
That's rough.
That was one of the comments too. It's like, come on, mate, 21 divided by 7, that's 3.
Well, you got that right. You nailed it. Oi, great job. You've worked it out completely.
But only 12 test flights.
Do you think Jeff Bezos would be good conversation?
I don't know. It'd be interesting.
So much to go with him. I'm guessing it's for the experience more than Jeff Bezos.
I mean,
you reckon you'd be able to pick his brain in the?
Yeah, how quickly can you pick his brain?
So I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk.
What would be your first question? It's tough.
What do you do? What do you do? Like, you've got all this money. Do you really oversee everything? I know you've given up being CEO, but what does it day-to-day
What
look
would your
like
responsibilities?
For you? Well, what does day-to-day look like for you? You're on the golf course. You're just flying around. You're not doing anything important. You pass off decisions. I'd be curious to know what you do when you're the top of success.
You know, but actually, that's literally going to lead into my question for him: is he at the top of his success? Because for us, he is.
Right.
But for him, is him. Yeah. Where does he want to be at in 10 years? Because that's probably his top of his success.
Because he's got like political sway and like
he owns a couple of newspapers, so
social influence.
Yeah, I think Washington Post comes to mind.
He's the American Murdoch.
Yeah. But yes, it's like it's interesting because what you perceive as some other person is successful, like that doesn't mean they've accomplished everything they want to do.
Yeah.
It's so.
It would be astounding to me if he didn't think he was at least successful.
I think you can recognise that. Surely. You'd have to be very unaware
to become this big. Like, you don't even think you're successful. I haven't made it yet. What? What do you mean you haven't made it?
No one has more money on Earth than you do. But, I mean, I'd love to know, how would he suggest someone replicate his success? Because I feel like he's such an anomaly, but he would have learnt so many things along the way that can not put you in his direction. Because most people, I don't think, want the responsibility of being the richest person. I don't.
It'd be so difficult, and you'd have to like change the way you think about a lot of things. I wonder how much he would be willing to give away.
In terms of his knowledge and secrets?
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I think you get to that level, someone's going to earn that knowledge from you. Like, they're probably like, you paid to get on this flight. I'm not telling you how I got all this. Like,
I mean, that's probably the one person that you could give it to.
Yeah.
If you're paying $28 million.
Could just be some NBA player. He's just like, fuck this.
True, yeah.
I'll bet $28 million to go with Elon Musk.
Yeah, and Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. Oh,
but
interlinked.
I reckon he'd be a weird guy.
Oh yeah, I don't think he would be.
I don't think he can be normal.
That relatable. No, how can you?
Yeah,
like,
true.
You see his transition from him before he was rich to after rich. You know, he's starting to look good and everything as he gets older. He's like, he was a real nerdy looking guy, but now he's like jacked. And he's just like.
I mean, I think he's relative.
Relative to what
he looks better now than he did 20 years ago.
Funny how money does that to a lot of people.
I think it's probably also health.
Yes.
He's been able to afford the best health. So if that's a nutritionist or if that's a chef cooking the best meals instead of him hustling for 20 hours a day and only getting takeaway, now he's getting steamed veggies and fish and like actually good food without having to allocate time in his day towards it.
It's a great point. You got to look like shit when you're in the hustle.
It's hard.
If you go on 20 hours a day or whatever.
It's hard to prioritise cooking filet mignon when you're trying to work 20 hours a day.
It's hard to justify it anyway. Jesus Christ. Filet mignon.
Yeah, that's true. That's up there. That's probably one of the made it type meals. It's always rapped about as well. It's
filet mignon.
It's weird. I think because it rhymes so well with quite a few things. Not that I can even think of a word that it rhymes with.
Filet mignon.
Onion. That's the only thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, I see filet mignon.
But I've heard it in a few songs.
It's the pause. The pause makes anything right. But where does this lead to? So now we're doing commercial flights into space. Like, what's next? Elon Musk going to come out now with something saying, we'll take you to the moon. Jeff Bezos come back with, we'll take you to Mars. Like,
potential.
This is the start.
Well, Richard Branson's doing something with Virgin Galactic. So he's doing trips. I'm not sure what he's doing, but Galactic is self-explanatory. Yeah. He's doing some sort of space travel. I don't know if that's commercial, if it's not. But are we going to start preferring to go to Mars than we would to Croatia? Like, is that what it's coming to?
I mean, at some point, maybe. But what's on Mars? Like,
well, that's also the allure. That's also the allure.
Take back that, or go back to the old school where the traveller, the person who was finding unknown land and all that kind of shit.
Oh,
what's the curiosity? True. Would we respark
who's Caruso?
Yeah, first person to find that new, or just see it, because someone else has found it, obviously. But
we know they're out there, but no one's been there. Yeah. Who's the first person? The Captain Cook. Who's the first person to step foot?
Yeah.
And we know Neil Armstrong's been there, done that. Buzz Aldrin.
Been done. Fuck the moon.
But that's old.
A week.
And that was also in California. It wasn't made in California basement.
The footage was forged.
Yeah,
it was fake.
We know it was fake. It was so obvious.
Yeah.
Don't even argue with me.
Grow up. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, please. Don't save the time.
But that's resparking that old bug. Let's be that first.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Well, colonize is a bit of a heated word, but like a.
Just first to touchdown.
I don't know.
Touchdown.
New territory.
Mark your territory. Fuck yeah.
Would you go?
To Mars or...
This trip is first. So the Jeff Bezos thing.
I'd definitely do that. I wouldn't definitely pay 28 million.
Do you trust it?
No.
Like you said, the
no,
10...
I don't trust it at all.
See, I completely trust it.
Really?
Because if Jeff Bezos and his brother are going to be on that flight, they've taken every... Like, they must know it's not going to fail.
How can you know?
As much as you know a helicopter's not going to fail, right? Because billionaires die in helicopters at like a weird rate, like disproportionate rate.
Yeah. How many helicopters flights have there been?
A lot more.
Yeah. A lot more.
Yeah, a lot more.
That's my point.
But just because more of that thing have caused crash doesn't mean this one's going to be... It's brand new, pristine condition.
Oh, good. So we haven't tested it. We don't know enough about it.
It's like a car that's been tested out. I would trust it. If Jeff Bezos is actually on that flight, I would trust it. If you get there and it's like, Jeff Bezos couldn't make it, his brothers couldn't make it either, I'd be like, wait a minute.
Hang on. Something smells off.
Can we postpone?
Yeah. I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll go next one. Thanks, mate.
I'm no rush.
Can I have my money back? No.
But is that a statement that they've got to make to prove their belief in it? Because if they're not willing to fly in it, who would be?
Definitely. I think people would have still done it anyway. I think a lot of people might not have been as expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe
but
more expensive.
People probably would have done it anyway.
Someone would have done it. Some rich guy would have.
But I think
curiosity would.
I think by putting yourself in it and people knowing it's the richest man in the world, a lot more to lose. I guess
that legitimizes it for me.
Yeah, it makes it seem more legit. But 12 flights is not legit. 13 flights is not legit. You haven't diagnosed any potential issues. Like,
wow, they've done probably 1 million simulations.
Maybe, probably.
Simulation technology is pretty good these days, mate. You can pretty much replicate anything.
Yeah, but that's also not the real thing.
Yeah, look, I would trust it.
I mean, people still freak out getting on planes.
Yeah, but that's an irrational fear at this point.
Yeah, but there's still issues.
Yeah, people freak out.
And that's why they freak out.
Yeah.
But you know what? How many dosages COVID vaccines have been handed out? I think at this point it's...
In Australia, I'm not sure.
I think at this point worldwide it's well over 100 million because US is close to that anyway. People are freaking out over the AstraZeneca vaccine because they've had 7 or 8 issues. Out of 100 million.
Probably like half
out of 100 million.
Probably because there's the other vaccine or whatever it is.
Okay.
Strain, but like out of a huge number.
But we're freaking out over 7 issues in 100 million. We've had 12 flights, 13 flights, and no issues. That you can't scale that to 100 million.
I get your point, but the people who go on the flight are
And people have no confidence.
The people who get on that flight aren't worried about the vaccine then. They're not the kind of person who's...
I wonder if you need the COVID vaccine to jump on. Because they're about to go out. It's July 30. They're about to head out.
Imagine if that's what you remember about going to space. You go to space, got COVID.
Imagine.
Got COVID and died
if you get COVID in space, what does that mean?
Oh, it means intergalactical disease, mate.
Does that mean it's not made in Wuhan?
It means it's exactly where it's made. Strong enough to go out of this atmosphere, mate. It goes into space.
Does that mean that aliens gave it to us?
Look, I think you got down a rabbit hole here.
No, but where else would we have got it from? If it's in space.
Well, no, it's not in space, Claire. You got it from someone else on the spacecraft. I'm not saying you're going into space. They're opening up the valve and getting rid of all your oxygen so you die, and then COVID comes in. That would be rough.
Just drown it out.
Imagine that. That would fucking... Oh.
You've got COVID.
Imagine something goes wrong. That would be so...
It's also potentially probable.
Well, I would say probable,
12
but
or 13
it's
flights.
possible, I'm sure.
I don't know. If countries became cities, and if countries became cities and planets became countries, in terms of our perception of the distance and the travel between it, which planet would you go to?
I've always had a soft spot for Saturn, even though it's a gas planet.
What? Soft spot? What's that?
I like the ring around it. Whatever it is, the ring around Saturn, the pictures.
Just hot laps?
Just love it. Yeah,
get the BRZ on.
Yeah, it's probably a track. That's my track. Oh, for some reason, as a kid, I haven't thought about this for about 13, 14. Well, that would still make me 11. Probably 20 years. But Saturn, I always loved Saturn.
Really?
Always loved Saturn. Don't ask me why.
It's the colour of it?
I think it's the colour. It's the ring.
Jupiter's pretty alluring as well.
Jupiter's huge.
Jupiter's massive. I feel like that would probably be the one I'd go to. I mean, we could Zoom. We could do Zoom podcasts. You'd be on Jupiter, I'd be on Saturn.
Well, if it's just going to another country, we've got enough money to go intergalactic, we'll probably be able to just fly over.
Do you reckon that'll be in our lifetime?
No. No, I don't think we'll be on Mars in our lifetime living.
What about just a trip?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because trips are already happening.
If this is happening where they're going into space, it's only 3 minutes, so they're not even taking people to the moon yet. The technology's there to go to space.
What if they just sell experiences? Like a hot air balloon. I mean, this is killing the hot air balloon business.
I think hot air balloons are done.
They're done.
I think if you get a hot air balloon, mate, you should look at yourself, because hot air balloons are done.
Why would you bother?
Why would you bother?
Why would you go 300 feet up?
People are going to space. You go hot air balloon.
Go where there's no gravity.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I
go where you can float.
I reckon trips to Mars, still highly priced, but in our lifetime.
Wow.
I'm putting money on it.
Well,
I'm not putting money on it, but I'm putting my back in.
You'd put the money that you'd pay for it on it.
No, because it'd still be millions of dollars.
You wouldn't. Really? I reckon it'll come down in price. I reckon it'll be more available. I think they'll scale it out somehow. I don't know how.
Do I go to Europe or to Mars this year? Fuck. Oh.
Well, Europe's a lot closer.
Europe's a lot closer and a lot nicer. But how many people
you
go
don't
to
know.
Mars?
That's the thing. What's the allure of going and actually staying on another planet right now? Because in Europe, I mean, if we go to Greece, we go to fucking Yidos. Yeah, we go to Guzzi, a great nightclub. There's like 50 euros for a bottle of Absolute and a booth. Like, at what point do you go, hang on, there's way better places on Earth. Why would I go over in Mars where there's no facilities, no nightclubs?
This is why...
Not that nightclubs mean much to me, but...
This is why it's billionaires doing it, right? Because those guys...
They're bored.
They've been everywhere, man. They've been everywhere on Earth they want to be. They've done it all.
They got a G6, they can just scoot out wherever.
Yeah, they're like, oh, am I going to go back to Croatia? Oh, am I going to go back to here? No, I'm going to Mars. Why? Because I can tell people I did it with all my money. Like, I can just tell people, yeah, I went to Mars.
Sometimes you just need to do more.
Yes. Sometimes you got to do what other people haven't done. Uncharted territory.
That's a good point.
People love that shit.
They're bored. Bored.
Earth's boring.
Is there more? Is there more?
How do you know? Go see it for yourself.
Literally.
Go-getters. Oh.
Actually, Drake's got a song called Is There More? And one of his lines is there more to life than yachts? Is there more to life than... No, what is it? Whoops.
Well, sounds like Drake's Drake bought the ticket, mate.
Drake knows what's up. Drake's asking, is there more to life than going on trips to Dubai, yachts on 4th of July, G5s soaring in the skies? Is there more to life than all these corporate ties? Like, what's next? He's asking the questions.
I reckon he bought the ticket. Do we know who bought the ticket?
No, we don't know. It could have been him.
He could be the undisclosed one.
Maybe, because for a long time he's been asking, is there more? That was in his 2018 album. Then he put out a song saying, what's next?
I'm all for Drake.
I think he's asking questions.
Yeah, I'm all for Drake out of space, doing a moonwalk in space. Come on, man, that seems pretty good.
It's a Drake thing to do, the Tootsie slide across the moon.
He's got that video clip of him.
Tootsie slide.
Is that the one where he's just walk around this mansion, just dancing? Like,
yeah, his new mansion. That was a very nice looking house.
One of many, I'm sure.
But it was interesting because I saw a comparison. Drake's 180 million, his net worth. Kanye's 1.8 million.
Jesus Christ.
Levels.
That's a different level, isn't it?
Fucking
I didn't realize there was that big a gap. I knew Drake was doing better, but...
No. Drake's 180 million. Kanye's 1.8 billion.
1.8 billion, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, why have I cooked? Why do I have that flip? Well, Kanye's got other shit. Drake's just music.
Diversification. That's what it is, yeah.
Diversify. And marry a Kardashian also.
But they're getting divorced. I mean,
he gets half. Like, who's got more money in that relationship?
Well, that was our first episode. This is our 21st episode. Yeah, we've come a long way, but this was what we brought up on the first episode. I thought Kim Kardashian was going to become a billionaire after the divorce, after the Kanye West divorce.
So Kanye's got more money.
Because I think Kanye's got more money. Kanye's got the bag. But Kim Kardashian's family... Yeah, they've all got bags. Yeah, they've all got bags. All right.
They're Gucci, Louis Vuitton, whatever bag you want, mate. They've got it.
But Jeff Bezos got cut in half. He had a big divorce. That was a massive settlement, which I think propelled his wife into one of the richest women in the world. Yeah. Unsurprisingly.
Of course, yeah. Half the richest man is the richest woman. Yeah. That's crazy. Like,
the price of marriage for a rich man is expensive.
You've talked about this.
I'm
skeptical. You're not sure of the point of it. Like, what is the point? If you're at that level... Yeah, why? If you've got like strong Christian values or something and it's just what you do when you have kids, sure. If you don't, what are you doing?
But does it swing the other way? Because getting cut in half from 100 billion back down to 50 billion isn't that bad.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be concerned by that. I think it'd be enough to scrape by for a little bit.
You'd manage. I think you could figure things out.
Sell off a few assets, you'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine.
You can just liquefy a couple of things. You'll
especially
be all right.
when you don't pay tax. Like, especially like just money just keeps coming in.
But I wonder, is that something that plays on their mind?
I've always thought that if you meet them after you're rich, yes. There's no way you could not just be thinking
especially if you're a celebrity?
Constantly. That would be all I think about when I'm with anyone. I could never get married. Like, that's what it would be for me. I don't think I could ever get past
you got an insecurity.
Yeah, because I'd always just think, it's all my money. It's not even about me. It's just about what I've created. Like, that. Someone just wants to get some of this.
At what point, though, would it be, okay, they probably just want their money. I can't tell, but I'm having a really good time with them. At what point do you go, okay, well, I could be wrong here and they do want all my money. I could be right. We have a good time. What point do you just go along with it?
Good time isn't enough to get married, though. I want a good time. That's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't even entertain the idea of marriage. Do you reckon they do it just because it like looks better for the business? If he's a married, good moral person, more people buy into the stock. More people. Oh, he's just a good Christian. It's a narrative. He's at least got good Christian values. Or
I think so. I
would think that's a good...
But would it also have the reverse effect on Drake? Like, it's a lot harder to listen to a rapper who's talking about women when he's married.
Yeah. Babe, you look good to her. You're the one and only.
Yeah, we pulled up to the club and I had my wife at home.
Oh.
Yeah. Like,
it's a great point. What like successful
it's probably rappers? Bad for business.
Yeah, Kanye. I mean, Kanye seemed to manage her a little bit.
Well, Kanye's like
he still rapped about having sex with Taylor Swift or whatever. Like
that was, I think, before.
I don't think so. I thought they were married for sure.
Really, that's bold.
Yeah, I think he's different level. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean,
people love it.
We were speaking about it the other day at work, and I think Kris Kardashian is the manager of all the Kardashian children and seems to be the mastermind behind the Kardashian enterprise, the organization, the behemoth, the Goliath that is. So I feel like she probably knew about it, and I don't think it would have been a shock to the family when Kanye's rapping about he's why Taylor Swift became famous.
She would completely like, that's just a rapper.
Famous is the name of the song.
Yeah. It's just a rapper. He's got to rap about those things. Who cares? Like, it's not...
It's not the end of the world.
It's not a shame on Kim. She's fine. Like, as before, they were together, whatever.
Yeah. Celebrity life's a fascinating and weird thing.
It's just so foreign. Like,
it's hard to comprehend.
Yeah, just everyone knows you, or most people recognize you.
And which would make it very hard to find someone who's actually, like, genuinely into you for you and not the clout, the money.
Startup billionaire. That's the way you got to go. Just a startup, tech startup that no one really knows about. You meet them just before it goes big. Boom. Before
IPO. Before we go public.
Yeah, before and then boom. Then you're happy.
So they'd be in a mad rush if the time's ticking and they're going to be bought out and they're going to go public with a big capital raising and they haven't got someone.
But this is then where it's like, just marry another celebrity or successful person. That's where that shit comes in.
That's probably why.
I would say that's the main reason. Like, someone's got their own shit.
Because a lot of successful people marry other successful or famous people. But then you've got a few who will actually marry people completely outside of that world. Are they more likely to be successful relationships? Or does it depend if they met before or after the famous factor?
It's an interesting one. I think before... If they met before, there's more of a chance of it lasting if the person who then becomes successful doesn't get like tempted by... Because they would then have all these other people thrown at them. It would be all on that person, essentially. Or, it's so complex to even talk about this, because then that person could be so jealous of how successful they're getting, and they're not doing so well, depending on the kind of character. It's so... too nuanced to know for sure, is it? But like,
there's so many different nuances. It's J. Cole.
Pain in the ass, fuck being famous. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, J. Cole had a song about Kevin Hart, and because he had a cheating scandal when he was in Las Vegas, and I think it was one of his mates that filmed his room and saw him. It was
documentaries. You ever watch his documentary?
Great, don't fuck this up. Great show, because it was like when you're at the top, you can only make a mistake. It's really the only thing that you can do, because stepping up from the top at Kevin Hart's level, it's not that really big of a step.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier to go down than it is to like go up 1%, and even that's not that big of a deal. And so J. Cole wrote a song about it, and just talking about having a good relationship, having someone at home, but then your phone's blowing up and the temptation is still on the line. Great song, and great to listen to and go, wow, that, like, it sort of puts it in perspective, because it wraps all the complexities up. And it was like, that would be really difficult for you, but also for your wife or the husband, whoever it may be, at home.
That is a patient person, or like a very understanding person.
And can't be jealous at all.
No.
Because you know they're going out, because that's part of their job. They have to be going out. They have to be mixing. They have to be socializing. They have to be at these parties.
I couldn't be on that end either. Like that is the worst. Like, the thought is just like, oh, okay. So this is where now I understand, like, this is how people could get jealous of it and part of it and be like, oh, fucking hell.
Very easily.
Like, they just don't work.
Yeah.
Don't get married if you're famous, if you're at the top. Like, just don't do it. Doesn't seem like there's any upside. Unless you want to just raise kids with a person whose values you really just
A few people have done it well.
I don't know, have they?
Well, I reckon Joe Rogan has.
Oh, but his wife, I don't think, is a famous person.
Yes.
That talked about much.
Yeah.
He'll mention her. I don't think he ever mentions her.
Joe Rogan is so famous, but he creates a very low-profile image of himself. And, like, in my mind, if I was to be famous, like, that's what I would want to be.
100%. 100%.
At least at 40 or 45 or 50, whatever his age is. Because he's got a wife, he's got kids, and as famous as he is, and he'd be approached everywhere. He probably couldn't hide in public. He'd probably need 24/7 security. I don't know.
He's got security at where he does the podcasts. I would imagine he would have.
I imagine he would. Yeah. You get too many looks. to just walk around with your kids.
And when you're at that level, you've got people who not only out to hurt you, but just obsessed with you.
Yeah.
Not mentally healthy people who are obsessed with you. Like, you would have creepy encounters.
Yeah.
All the time.
But even there'll be people who just are obsessed with you in a healthy way, but they see you at a restaurant and that is their one chance. They're probably never getting this opportunity again to go up and say hi. So they're going to crazy lengths. And they're interrupting you. It's definitely an issue. But, I mean, he does a great way, I think, of at least presenting a low profile image of himself.
Yeah, and part of it's being like the stand-up comic, the self-deprecating, you don't take yourself too seriously, approachable, like...
He's very everyday.
Yeah, seems like just a down-to-earth person because you go to crowds, you like do material and you fail still. Like he's in a means where you're successful, but you're still failing. Like your material won't always hit.
And he's still talking about his struggles. Yeah. He's not talking about the wins. He talks about the wins as equally as the fails. And I think that's relatable, everyday sort of guy.
That's what you got to be. That's the kind of famous you want.
Yes. If it's such a...
if you want it Like, you take the money with it. Like, if it means all that money, okay, I guess you could learn to live with it, but you'd want to be old enough that you've just, like...
Maturity.
Yeah. You feel like you're capable of handling it all. Like, you're not going to get swayed or drawn to weird things.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in to tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Say it one more time.
Subscribe, like, and comment.
Oof, let's go. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, actually, no.
Ooh.
Stay on. Yes, we've been wanting to do this for so long because we keep forgetting every single time for about 3 weeks. But we wanted to do a comment of the day. And this was from Thomas, DM'd us on Instagram, and he really loved the Critter podcast. So thanks, Thomas. Thanks for messaging us. Every episode, we're going to recite one of the comments or tweets or messages that we get just to thank you and show your support. And keep DMing us because it's fun for us to respond.
We love it.
Thanks, guys.